Warning. The following is a live work of fiction for the purpose of entertainment. Actions of characters do not represent the actors who portray them. Gravehaven occurs in a southern Gothic horror setting and may contain graphic depictions of violence, death, and more. Due to the nature of roleplay, other themes of mature content may occur without warning. Viewer discretion is advised.
Bright light in the dark. Now you're nothing but a spark. No, hear the call. No, ravens say. No, they will guide you on the way. No, you will find yourselves astray from the water's light. No, heed the ravens call, or the guard will roll. No.
A barren wasteland, ash fallen upon what used to be a luscious farmland is now barren. You see overhead the moons in the sky, almost a blazing red fire. And off in the distance, swarms of thousands, an army coming to destroy the very last thing that the gods left on the realm. Hundreds of people flee as you see these dark entities swooping down, latching on, the talons ripping children to shreds, families, even nearby livestock. And a few minutes go by, 10 minutes go by, 30 minutes go by, and that army soars away, leaving a farmstead with little hope that the armies of Malthraxon, that they would be safe from. But it appears that is no longer the case. Those that did survive look as, with a heavy heart, once again, their life must start over. It's an occurrence that continues to plague Domen-EVARIS. Domen-EVARIS is a realm dominated by greed and gloom. The year currently is 313. during the age of the resurgence. It's known as the beginning of the Third Age, an age where magical items are first to exist. 300, 400 years now. The idea of mortals creating weapons, mundane items that they created thousands of years before. And now you have that power to do that. It has taken a long time to uncover the secrets of how these magical items are crafted. But they are now to the realm's disposal. That Domen-Evaris can now, in this resurgence, anything is possible. And although Malthraxon's armies continue to lay waste to the lands, there's hope that hasn't been there thousands of years. And even scholars and those far off and in the Citadel or in Elikester, there's a sense of it doesn't have to be this way anymore. The continent is plagued in chaos where Malthraxon's armies, these dark entities known as ne'er-do-wells, trek the lands and wreak havoc. It's long been this way since the infliction. The infliction, scholars cannot precisely remember how long ago it was. But they believe that there was a time where Domen-Evaris was not a barren wasteland. That Malenthrain, the northeastern continent, provided a sense of accomplishment instead of destruction. The infliction brought forth these darker entities into the continent, and the gods forsake everything. Most believe that the gods no longer are upon the realm. Most believe that gods never even existed. No word has come from them for many moons. And most of the inhabitants of Domen-Evaris have lost faith in the gods. They cling to whatever little faith, desperate for a sign, as living in this world is not easy. In time, we ourselves will reap what this domain of greed has to offer. Yet, for now, our story begins a little bit smaller. In the southeastern fields of Malenthrain, the northeastern continent of Domen-Evaris, we are here in the Archdiocese of Chrysadia. The Archdiocese of Chrysadia is within the Umbrian Reach. And the Archdiocese of Chrysadia loves a little bit of structure in their lives. Within the Archdiocese of Chrysadia lies a little small rural village of Harvenrest. This quaint village prides itself on its fertile farmlands, from leafy greens and their prized possession of wheat, where as you search out over the hills, it's just gold. All of these wheat fields sprawling in every direction. Here in this sleepy little trade stop along the road, where most merchants or farmers or those going on the crossroads, trekking through the archdiocese to the city of Chrysadia. Harvenrest is a busy little village here. We begin in the early hours of the night, around 8 p.m. So all of your daytime has now ended, as there are only 8 hours of nighttime in this world. Overhead, you see in the sky 2 moons as they are slowly going up into their crest. And the sky is gray and rumbles a storm. Isidora and Wythe, you have been on quite the journey together. As you are on a pair of horses each. These horses have come a very long time with you all. What are you doing as you have entered into Harvenrest?
Well, if it's been a whole day, we should probably find somewhere to sit down and eat or something. Otherwise, I mean, it's been a few days, so I think this is something that we might have already rehearsed by now. You're cool staying in like a motel or something cheap. I know you like outside. That's sort of your deal.
Um, I w- that sounds nice, I suppose. Um, I don't really have the funds to pay for any sort of living space, but I guess we could always barter. Is bartering a thing people do in larger cities?
Yes, but they also work. What do you do? Do you have like a job?
um well, where I grew up, we didn't really have money, really, or at least I don't think we did. I just took care of my grandmother.
Okay, well, how about this? I will secure some place to be that's not outside, and then we can work on this money thing. And she will find the closest place to sleep, to chill.
Perfect. What do you both look like as you are wandering through town?
Let me find the little picture there. Okay, so it's been a day of writing, so it's less, but everything she has on is extremely like overfilled with buckles. Too many buckles. They're not securing anything, but it's mostly black, like black vest with a white, like poofy shirt and an indigo like cravat tie that's like really intricate. Like I said, black vest with the side buttons, high thigh black boots, and a like cape jacket that's black leather, and her hair stops just short of the like poofy shirt. It's a little all over the place because horses go fast, and then she's got a little like baby hair swirl coming in over the front. Oh, and she's dark skinned.
She's so cute. You see that Wythe has adorned herself in very dark red robes. It is a dress. She has ability to walk. So there's 2 slits down the front of the dress that allow for her legs to peek through as she walks. She does not wear any shoes. You can see that from the bottoms of her feet and the tips of her fingers look scorched almost. And no matter how much you have seen her wash her hands, it does not go away. She's long black fingernails, almost like talons. Her long white hair, the ends are also scorched as well. But sitting on top of her head is a very large scarlet witch's hat that she pulls down over her face when she's uncomfortable. And you have holes here for her. One tiefling horn pops up in full force with tips of gold, while the other has been cut off or does not exist past a certain point on the other side of her skull. Still topped with gold as well. Her eyes glow an amber color, which is striking yet terrifying, yet oddly warming at the same time. Do with that what you will.
Perfect. As you make your way over a bridge, like a little like stone bridge, you see that there's a smaller river that kind of flows underneath. Little ways away, there is like a mill that is churning in the water. Both of you go ahead and you can make investigation checks or you can make survival checks.
Which one is better? Let's see. Investigation's better. I forgot that's how I built this character. Nope. Wow, we're starting strong. We're starting really strong. Did you see that?
I did.
Oh, good.
Lucky.
Oh, so I don't use digital dice rollers. Where are my dice?
What did you both get?
I got 22
Okay.
for survival.
Okay.
The D&D dice roller did me dirty on them, and on my first roll of this entire campaign, I rolled a nat 1.
Okay.
I know. Listen, don't get me started.
Isidora, you are used to the bustle of even a village. You grew up in a city. This is no issue for you. As you're kind of looking around, you see there's the larger buildings of this town that you can make out there's the mill. There's like a church of some kind. There is various larger buildings that you, with your good eyes in the rain here, you can see there's an inn that is closer to the bridge that you're going over right now, as it is usually the first thing people traveling into this town will see. There's a bustle going on right now as you are walking or riding into town. There are people out, and as the night kind of goes there's more people that come out, and mostly drow in this village. Wythe, however, you see, you've never really seen water like this. That's like the one thing that as you're not really looking around at the actual village, you're kind of looking down at the water. It's different here in the Archdiocese of Crusadia. It's cleaner. You're not used to that. And as you are looking down in your reflection in the water, the reins on the horse kind of go up, and you're trying to get the horse back on track. Go ahead and make an animal handling check for me.
I am listen. I am not doing as good with the real dice either.
Okay.
That's a
What do you have?
that's a 6.
Okay. The horse kind of rears back a bit as you stumble a bit, but you've been with this horse for about 4 or 5 months. Like it's not as calmer as Isidora's horse. You're able to stay on the horse, but the horse has a mind of its own right now. And for you, there's a sense as your hand kind of is touching the neck of this horse. You can feel the veins of this horse. You can feel the energy kind of seeping all around it. And its heartbeat is very fast. And as you look up in front of Isidora, they have their horse just kind of easily trotting along. But then the horse calms down and continues to trot along.
Is it something where I can do like a perception check to see why my horse was so freaked out? Or is it
Sure.
something where I'm just really bad with animals?
Go ahead and make an insight check on the horse.
Insight check. We're going to go back to the D&D Beyond dice and see if it works any better.
Mhm.
Ah, it did. I got a nat 20.
Oh, yeah.
It's really throwing me through the gambit
Yeah.
already.
All right. For a total of
My insight is a plus 23.
20.
I mean, plus 3. Jeez, zoo peeps.
Okay, so 23.
wish. Yeah.
There was a moment that the horse didn't want to go forward. There was something about the area that might have spooked it. And you're not quite sure what it might have been. And at that moment, you hear the rumbling of the storm coming. And so there could be the horse may just not like the storm. There could be something else. Yes.
So from what we can see, as we're crossing this river, is the storm behind us? Or is the storm coming, like, are we going towards the storm, which is closer to the town?
The storm is behind you,
Us.
coming towards the town.
Coming towards the town.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know which is worse.
Right. So as you enter into this town, various walks of life, mostly drow, mostly peasants and farmers. But you see the occasional, tiefling. There's minotaur. There are, all kinds of various individuals here. You're not quite certain who could be actually from this town. They could be passerbyers just like you all. But for the most part, everybody seems to be out and about, selling wares. You see there is a small kind of boy who is carting around one of the little carts, wanting people to buy, various oats and grain. Where would you all like to go?
What do you point to?
I don't know where you are on the screen, but I'm pointing to you.
Oh, you point to me. Yeah. Then we should. I thought you were pointing in the direction. Then we should probably go to the inn unless you got errands to run.
I don't know what errands I would run here.
That was just sort of a loose. It wasn't really a joke. Never mind. To the inn then. And we go.
Okay. Both of you make a perception check as you are. The inn does have like an outside place that you can tie the horses to. There is. What were your perception checks?
9.
Okay, no, that's fine. Yes, Sidney.
Go ahead and share your perception check.
I think it's trying me tonight. I rolled a nat 1, and then I rolled a 20, and then I rolled a 2.
What is happening?
I don't know.
Cursed. Everything is cursed.
But it's total 5.
Okay. 5 and up. It's not that hard to miss. In the center of this town is a massive handmade cornucopia. It sits in the middle of this town. It's probably about 12 feet high. And as you're tying your horses, people are passing by it. You see, there's a child that runs up to the cornucopia and just gawks at it, and then rummages in their pocket and puts something inside the cornucopia and scurries off. Isidora, you're kind of a little bit more like, as you're looking, there's another individual quickly after who also provides something to the cornucopia, sets it inside, walks away.
Can I stop them?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
they're about 50 feet, 50 feet from you.
Okay.
But it's pretty massive. Like, you can see this thing.
Yeah, I think she'll like ride the difference between up until like 15 feet in front of this person, because it's a big horse.
Mhm.
And just ask, is this like for the town, or what's all this for?
You stop like a male drow, has little mutton chops. Well, hey there, welcome to Harvenrest. We're always looking for new folk to come around here. Yeah, this is this we call the Horn of Plenty. This is the massive cornucopia. We give offerings to Cheat Lolly, the goddess, gracious. As long as we, provide, she provides for us. What's your name, stranger?
Oh, you can call me Izzy for
Izzy.
the sake of
Well,
quickness.
what a pleasure. Oh my gosh. Even tidings be upon you, and I hope that Chilali brings good fortune your way. Church is about to start soon, probably about 3 hours. Starts at, well, might have me, 10 p.m. It's 2 hours. I'm a little hour late. But about 2 hours we'll start church, and you and anyone you're welcome to come on by.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We were just getting settled for the night, but maybe we'll rain check on the church.
Oh, well, absolutely. More the merrier. He kind of looks over and looks at Wythe. Well, howdy there. Welcome to Harvenrest. He kind of yells. Well, you two, if there's anything you need, just let me know. My name is Darriston Randolph. I will put that in chat and I will spell it.
Okay.
Deriston. Ranoff.
Darriston.
Rannullf. You can call me Derry.
Wow. Thank you, Derry. So much. It's delightful to meet you. Are you participating in the service at all, or are you just a member of the congregation?
I'm just a member. I'm in charge of the homestead here, where our mayor. I just kind of garden for the mayor, but I'm not a part of. I'm not a part of the congregation. I'm just a part of the congregation, not part of the church itself.
Okay.
I just worship. Even tidings be upon you.
And
What?
also with good night.
He walks away.
So, and she rides back to Wythe.
Okay.
That was something. Do you want to see what that's about?
No.
Okay, then we won't. Except I kind of want to see what it's about. You know what I mean? What if it's weird? What if it's weird?
I mean, it's probably very weird, but at the same time, maybe we should go and disguise or something. Maybe we should like dress up as a person from this town, because she kind of pulls her hat down over her eyes. It kind of looks like we're a little out of sorts here, a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's not really something I struggle with, but we can take some time to find you a disguise if that's easier.
You know what? I changed my mind. And Wythe dismounts, runs behind a nearby tree, casts alter self.
Okay.
So she looks like a
I need you
town.
to make a stealth check for me.
Oh, son of a beach nut. How dare you make me roll my own rolls?
And let me see, alter self. And then just for funsies, what kind of spell is alter self? What classes can cast alter self?
Let me pull that up really fast.
Yeah.
So alter self is a 2nd level transmutation spell.
Okay. And what are the classes that can cast it?
Where would I find that?
So in your D&D Beyond, when you have alter self, it doesn't tell you in D&D Beyond.
Does not.
Okay. Alter self. I'll keep track of the spells on classes that can cast them. But alter self, the classes that can cast them are sorcerer and wizard. That's a handy dandy tip that'll come out later. So what is your stealth check?
It was a 6.
Okay.
Oh my god.
As you go, what are you changing into?
I'm changing your appearance, so I'm going to look like a nondescript person. Like I take a bunch of features from random like female presenting people that I've seen in this town and just mash them all together and come out looking like a normal girl.
Okay. Izzy, you see coming through this bush, or this tree, a drow individual with similar hair, kind of blondish hair, purple eyes, wearing kind of a simple gown, a garment of sorts, kind of has like little freckles, like little cute little silvery freckles.
Okay. I don't have any problem with that at all. All right, we're coming in together. So, and then she takes her jacket and like whips it around in the attempt to cover this like very loud, puffy shirt that she has. So it's just kind of like a shawl in front.
Mhm.
But if it were in front of a camera, she wipes the frame and changeling shapeshifts into something genetically next door to what's happening with Wythe.
Well, cool. Awesome.
That's okay. I like what you did. We'll stick with that.
All right. Before you enter into this tavern, overhead, it's called the Harvester's Hearth. The Harvester's Hearth. It has kind of like a scythe type symbol, or like a sickle type symbol, with kind of like wheat everywhere. Isidora, with your passive perception, you notice there are two guards. Being from the city, you know the difference between city guards and village guards, and these are city guards. They have they're adorned in this deep purple armor with golden inlays. They're not doing anything. You just take note of them as they're kind of standing in the middle of town, just kind of keeping an eye on everything. They didn't seem to pay attention to Wythe as she did anything, so you take note of that. Coming into the Harvester's Hearth, you swing open the door. It is warmly. People here are talking amongst themselves, probably about 30-40 individuals in here. You see this cute little tiefling. She has this like adorable cute little smile. She probably comes about the same height as Wythe right now. Her cute little horns just kind of curl like a little ram. She's got this like cute little big hair that kind of goes everywhere. And she's like, well, hey there, welcome to the Harvester Hearth. I'm Sybil, and I'll be your, waitress this evening. Just go, you two go ahead and take a seat on down, and I'll get menus right out to you, okay? And she wanders off, and her little tail just kind of whipping. She wears a very cute little dress.
Okay. We take a seat. We take a seat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where
yeah,
would
let's
where
sit
would you
down.
like to sit?
Probably in the back. Just
Okay.
gonna assume.
Okay. So as you take a seat in the back of this Harvester's Hearth, everyone is very lively here. They're smiling, they're having a good time. No one, it's actually the two of you that are more in the back, kind of out of the view of everything. But everyone else is, having this would be kind of a lunch meal right now, as it is sort of earlier in the day. even though it's 8 p.m. So they're all kind of having their brunch right now. And you see their various corns, vegetables, mostly everything that they've grown here. They have meat as well. And Sybil comes on by. Well, I love it when we get strangers in this wonderful little town. How may I help you? What would you like to drink? We have water. We got ale. Wine.
Water, please.
Water. All right. And for you?
Ale.
Ale.
On the stronger
Okay.
side.
Well, oh, all right. I like that. All right. And we have a wonderful menu for you today. She hands you out a menu. Just look over that if you want any fixins to come on right up. But I'll get your orders in. I'll come back, get you those drinks.
Sounds good.
Perfect. She wanders back into the back. After a few minutes, she comes back, give you your drinks, you order. She kind of takes about 10-15 minutes for your meal to get back to you as you begin to eat. Go ahead and both of you make perception checks.
16.
Okay.
13.
13. Okay. There's a few individuals here that kind of like you gain your attention as you're eating. There is this one person, they're all mostly drow, very well dressed individual. He kind of wears like a little black rimmed little hat. And he's speaking with some individuals as he's eating. You see there is a larger individual that's kind of off to the side as well. And there is a older drow, a bit robust, at another table speaking. You can hear the various conversations happening. What's interesting is the individual that is very well dressed. Everyone is kind of keeping their eyes on that one. And wanting to kind of hear what that individual is saying, or just like looking at that individual. And as they're having a conversation, the bit robust drow is speaking to the well-dressed drow. Well, I just don't understand. There's this piece that you're always saying that always, I don't really, and you hear someone cut them off and say, Werner, it is not I just don't know what to do with you anymore. It is not your right to question him. It is more you listen and you follow. And Werner, the older drow, just kind of says, yeah, but I'm just trying to understand this one piece. And it's been on my mind for a couple days. And the two individuals are going back and forth. The well-dressed individual kind of straightens up and says, gentlemen, shall we not fight here today? It is a glorious day right now. And there's a sermon that I have to prepare in 2 hours. So let's just have a good meal, and let's not worry about what Chilali has told or said through me today. All right, I'm just here to enjoy my meal, and we can talk after the sermon. You see Werner kind of just like, all right, just kind of eats. And yeah, the two of you eat.
We heard that conversation.
Yeah, you heard that. It's very loud. Yeah.
Good. Love us some loud people. Oh, I have a feeling we should probably go to this thing.
It's gonna be weird if we don't. Like they take attendance.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, it could be fun, right? I mean, we don't know who this Chilele is. Maybe they're super cool and only want
Make a religion check.
Both of us?
Yeah, if you'd like to.
Here we go. Gonna roll real dice this time.
the 16.
Gosh darn everything to hell.
Yep.
Yep.
What's up, Sidney?
Do you want to
Another-
know?
Another one?
Do you want to know what my real life dice did? If you can believe it. Yes, it's another one. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I am not aware. Wes, don't say a damn thing in the chat. Damn thing.
All right.
Listen, she's really out of her element. This is the first time she's been around so many people.
That's true. So Wythe is kind of sitting there trying to, you're more focused on trying to appear normal than trying to pay attention to what everyone's saying.
Yeah.
Isidora, you do know who Chilali is. Chilali is the Dusk Walker. She is the goddess of the moon. Your family would have spoken of her. She is, in a way, connected to the Death Warden. They have worked together from your readings as an individual growing up, and all you can kind of surmise is only that you know that she's a god, and you know kind of her realm, but other than that, you don't know much about her.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, then this should be fine, right? I mean, the listen and follow is a little unique to them, but we should go. It'll be fine.
What?
We're going to church. You're doing great. Put your shoulders down. I mean, that's lower. It's lower. Okay. And then we don't need to see the teeth all the time.
I love it.
Excellent. That's good. You're doing great. To church.
Isidora, as you're kind of talking to Wythe, there's kind of a small clattering of utensils, kind of, just a little bit on the table. And you kind of look up. People are staring at you. And they're still talking. It's not silence or anything. They're mumbling, they're talking to each other, whispering. But the well-dressed drow kind of looks over to you, says, well, blessed be. You're two strangers looking to go to church. I cannot be more proud of the both of you. Where are my manners? And this individual, I'm preacher Lucian Harcourt. I'm the preacher here in town in Harvenrest. I'm just, by golly, please introduce yourselves.
Well, I'm Izzy, and this here is my friend who can introduce themselves. It's fully capable of doing that by themselves.
My name is Wanda.
Make a deception check.
No.
Let's go, Wanda.
Oh, what the?
Uh,
Please stand church vibes. Yes. Yes.
Deception. I can do that. Can I? Maybe. I act a 12.
12? Okay. I forgot I can roll too. Oh, okay. he looks at you and says, well, it is a blessing for y'all to be here with us this night. Whatever's best for the town and everything, I'm glad that you two strangers here have crossed our paths. Our nights get a little bit darker. Well, brighter, I should say, since when new folk turn up around here. But I'll be waiting for you at the church. It's and Izzy, as you were walking in, is the church building that was proudly displayed almost in the center of town. About 10 p.m. is when we start our sermon. And he kind of I guess I should prepare. Probably about a little over an hour and a half left. But Izzy and Wanda, it was a pleasure to make your acquaintance. And I'm sure, any of these fine individuals here in this here little town, anything you need, we'd be sure to help you. And the preacher walks out. And you both are kind of just standing there. People are actually pretty friendly to you. I mean, they're not weird or anything, like kind of looking at you odd. They're introducing themselves, they're talking with you. Waiting, they're all kind of just waiting around for church to start.
This is the worst thing that could have possibly happened.
Yeah.
Wanda is sitting there throughout this entire conversation, just smiling, like
Mhm. All right.
listening politely.
And
Yes.
as go ahead.
No, I was just gonna keep encouraging that.
And as the two of you kind of finish your meal, meet some denizens of this quaint little village town. We go back in time a little bit. As Reverend Varkan the Gravehaven that you have looked after all these years, is not within Harvenrest. It's actually between Harvenrest and Crusadia. So you kind of frequent all of these rural areas quite often. You've left the church for the day in the care of Whistler, who is making sure that the church is not being vandalized again, is not being, robbed again. And Whistler, is just gonna try to do his best to make sure the church is still standing when you return. As you've made the journey as often as you do, it's just a few hours to Harvenrest. You got an earlier start, and it's probably about 6 p.m. So the sun's still out in the sky. You've made your way into Harvenrest once again. And you walk by the cornucopia, as you have probably several times over. And people are making their offerings throughout the day. What would you like to do as you were in Harvenrest?
Well, first things first, I definitely stopped by the cornucopia
Mhm.
and place a couple of coppers down in offering. And then I suppose it would be my duty to saunter on over to the church to check in, make sure that the preacher's doing all right.
Okay. as you put some coppers into the cornucopia, go ahead and make a religion check for me.
I shall do that. Well, I suppose I will be joining Wythe in the land of wow, these rolls.
No.
It's not a natural one, fortunately, but it's not super high. It's only an 11.
11.
At least it's above a 10.
It's a little strange with all your knowledge. You know, every time you come into Harvenrest, this cornucopia, just always look at it a little funny. You don't know why this town keeps putting things into it. And they say it's for Chitlali, the goddess of the moon. But, you know, there's always been that question in your mind of, what does the goddess of the moon have to do with cornucopia? But you shrug, throw a few coppers in, and say, well, it's not my religion. And trot over into the church. Church is a little, it's more of a chapel. It's not as large as yours. You feel a little pride within yourself with it. But it's more well off. You know, there's not holes in the ceiling. They have all of their stained glass windows. None of them are broken. Going into this little chapel at the top, there's like a steeple, and there's a crescent moon that is shown. And as you're walking up in through the doors, the moons are almost, you've seen it before, reach the alignment of that crescent to where that crescent silhouette will soon be in the moons. Go inside this church. 3 or 4 people probably in here sitting in the pews, you know, just praying to themselves. And then you see him. Go ahead and make a history check for me. With advantage.
Natural 20.
Natural 20.
For a 24.
Perfect. You recognize him right away with his little bit taller than you, nice bone structure, drow preacher Lucian Harcourt with his hat. He, around his neck is a crescent symbol of a holy symbol of some kind, which is a holy symbol of Chitlali. And you see him as he's putting his hand on another individual, kind of having a conversation. And that individual looks a little sad, but as they're whispering to each other, the individual kind of smiles, and walks off. I believe you do know what they're saying.
I would.
You would. You hear the preacher Harcourt as he's whispering to the individual. You know, even tidings be upon you, Chitlali's not will find you. You know, you just got to keep with it, and I think what you're doing here, Cronin, is just fine. I mean, just keep praying. Pray on it. And Cronin kind of says, all right. Walks off. And as that individual walks off, Preacher Harcourt looks over in your direction. And he just kind of sighs. As he's passing by individuals praying, they look up at him, just nods, smiles, says, get back to what you're doing, don't mind me. Walks up to you. Well, Varkan, I haven't seen you for a while. Can I help you with something?
I just thought it was proper for me to come in and say hello. I'm
No,
passing
that's-
through on my way to the Gravehaven.
Oh, well, yeah, the Gravehaven, yours. Well, I'm always, it's always nice to see another devout worshiper around. Even though some of us choose certain things to worship. Chilali is always, we keep always having this talk, but if the Death Warden isn't one that is, all right. It's a talk that we always have with each other.
Has she started answering your prayers yet?
She does every night. I mean, look at my church. It's wonderful. It's well built, well insulated. We got our stained glass windows, fully made. We finished them this year. How's your church doing?
Preacher, we both know that you're full of shit. You're lucky you're handsome.
Well, that's one way to look at it. Well. All right, Varkan.
I'm glad that things are prosperous for you right now. I wish goodwill towards all worshipers. But remember, in the end, the last face most people see is mine.
Well, perhaps with Chilali's guidance, we won't have to worry about that.
Nobody lives forever, not even you.
Well, until I start seeing this Death Warden you keep talking about.
He's all around you.
Kind of looks around suspiciously. Yeah, I mean, we have more hours of night these days.
You think that makes a difference to your Harris?
It makes all the difference to Chilali. Yes. We shouldn't be fighting in a house of holiness, as he kind of looks around. Pray.
I wasn't aware this was a fight. Here, I thought we were just having a civil discussion. Besides, I would hate to attack somebody who comes unarmed.
Well, I don't know what precisely it is that you're able to do. I mean, I don't do any of that. I'm able to.
I hope it will be a long time before you have to worry about it.
Okay, well, I'm just a mundane individual here. I don't use magics of any kind to persuade individuals as.
What exactly is it that you are implying?
I'm not implying, I'm stating a fact.
I don't hear any facts being stated, just some silly supposition by a very small man. It was lovely seeing you. my dear.
Mhm.
And next time I stop in, I'll make sure to leave some alms at your cornucopia. And I suppose that if you're here, that means you're preparing for a sermon. Good luck with that too. I hope that your goddess blesses the service.
Well, thank you. And I mean, you're always welcome to attend if you wish. I mean, tonight might be something you probably haven't seen in a while. So, thank you. And he'll give you a copper.
Varkan looks at the copper and just gives, and this is the thing, is like, Lucian wouldn't be able to see it because their faces come fully covered, the top half by a mask and the bottom half by a thin, like silvery white veil that kind of cascades around their shoulders. But they kind of smile behind the veil and sort of gently shake their head and shake their little alms box. I'm covered, but I appreciate the attempted donation.
Pocketing it back. Well, it was good seeing you, Reverend.
It was good seeing you too, Preach.
He turns around, walks back.
Head about as big as the moon he worships. And Rev just turns around and walks out.
Perfect. As you walk out, you see a little minotaur child. Cute little like horns that maybe will be a little too big right now. Runs up to you and says, Reverend Varkan, I didn't know you were gonna be in town today.
Oh, well, I'm very, very sorry to have surprised you, but yes, I'm here. How are you?
I'm fine. Look, I got you something. And he goes into his bag. He pulls out like a dead animal skull that he found. Yeah, well, I found this over by the river. And it reminded me of you. And I know we're not supposed to, touch these things, but I thought, what the heck not? And here, and he just gives it to you.
That's very, very, very kind of you. You did well. I'll make sure this gets put on the altar.
Oh, thank you. You can look at it. It's some sort of like cat skull, like it's kind of tiny. But the child is very happy. Well, how long are you gonna be in town for?
I suppose until at least later tonight. Your preacher has invited me to his sermon.
Yeah, I don't like going to church. My parents keep making me. Oh, I wish I could go to Gravehaven. You always keep talking about it, and it's always, it sounds way cooler than this church. But don't let my family know that I said that. He looks around.
Well, I think that it'll be a very, very long time before you need to be at my church. But you're welcome whenever you like.
Wow. He not knows like his big little rubbery nose. Oh, well, I gotta go. Bye. Runs away.
Little boy's first crush. Adorable.
Yeah. But now you're left here, devices, in this town. You've been here numerous times. Not everyone is too keen on the worship of the god of death here.
Does the
But
town
they allow it. Yeah.
Does the town have a cemetery?
No, it doesn't.
Like no mausoleums or crypts or anything
No.
like that?
No. That's one thing that you've always thought was weird about this town.
I think that Reverend Varkan kind of wanders a bit closer to the cornucopia, and just sort of observes people for a while and observes the opening of the cornucopia. Like they're kind of curious. Like, does the cornucopia always look like it's full? Does it look like like um like the amount of things in it like increases or diminishes over time? Like they're just very curious about the cornucopia
Go
and the way
ahead
that
and
it
make
works.
an investigation check.
Okay. Let's see how we go. Not bad. Investigation 15.
15. Okay. Looking at the inside of this cornucopia, this isn't your first time looking at it either. This thing, like, you've been here various times. This, you've seen where it's very full, you've seen where it's kind of lowered. You do know that it is getting more full as it is towards the end of the year. Towards it's probably about a few weeks off until harvest end, which is the big celebration of like the harvest month. So it's pretty full. It's more full than you've seen it before. But inside is like gourds, oats, wheat, corn, vegetables, nothing that makes you kind of be like, that shouldn't be in there. Well, there's probably like a toy that a kid, like a doll or like a rock, like, but there's nothing in there that kind of like, oh, this is weird. Everything is just kind of on par of what you've normally seen.
Then I think probably the Reverend Barkhan might like go around and maybe I would imagine they know a few people in this town. They might go and like drop in and say hi to them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Okay.
kind of thing.
So there's a few people that you would probably get to know very well in this town, who actually enjoy your company, as you've kind of sussed out who you actually can be around and who you can tolerate. So Ren, W-R-E-N, a Kinku who owns the Raven Root Apothecary, a little small apothecarist. Ren, she's very sweet. You've enjoyed your company as well. You also like Ulysses Elmore, who is a drow cook at the Harvester's Hearth. So he kind of prepares all of the meals. So Ulysses, Ren, who else would actually? That might be everybody who actually takes a cut.
That's totally fine.
Actually,
I
that might
think
be
it's
everyone in this
interesting
town.
that
and of course like children who like really enjoy you, who haven't been around the church as long as most people.
they haven't they don't know me well enough to know that everybody else is scared of me.
Yes. Yeah.
I represent something that most people aren't willing to accept.
And one more individual is Werner Driscoll. So I'll type that in.
Huh.
So those would be the three. So you have Ren, Werner Driscoll of Driscoll's Trade Goods, and Ulysses Elmore. Those would be the three individuals that you know
All right.
actually like can have a conversation with.
And yes, I think I'd probably stop in on Ren first, maybe resupply that kind of thing on like herbs and the like for my sensor.
Okay. So it's not, takes about 15 minutes walk, very easy to get to Ren's. The Raven Rook is the Raven Root has a little raven image with like a beak that has like an herb in its mouth. As you walk in, it is a huge wafting of various herbs. It's like very overpowering. Make a perception check as you're entering.
What am I trying? Perception. Okay. Dirty 20.
30,
Nope,
20.
sorry, 19.
19. As you're kind of going in, you see, and you know who these are. These are the Dusk Crest. They are the city guards of Crusadia. That you've seen them kind of walk around town today. They are kind of stationed near this apothecary. And they are taking note of every single individual who comes in and out of here. This is not a like you know that this is something that they do. Go ahead and make a history check as you're wandering into the apothecary with advantage as well.
That one was a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay. You know, as you have lived, well, not lived, but have been around most of your life here. The Archdiocese of Crusadia has very strict laws, and most of those laws have to do with druidic magics. Crusadia, which is kind of the city that their laws have gone throughout the region, they send out the Dusk Crest, which are the city guards, to various homesteads, villages, towns throughout Crusadia, kind of, and you would know this, in an Inquisition type fashion, where they go through and they try to find druids, rangers, shaman, anyone who in our terminology casts druid magics. So if you have a spell that has a druid can cast that, they can like immediately see if you are a druid. So you're very well aware that these Dusk Crest are out here hunting down druids. As you walk into this apothecary, you hear like a bell that goes off to kind of alert whoever's inside that the door's opening. And about 2 foot tall little Kenku kind of like peers over. Raven,
How are you doing, Ren?
the door closed.
Yes, I made sure to close it behind me.
Are they still outside?
Unfortunately, yes, they are. I suggest you remain indoors.
You know, and you see she kind of has like a cute little cane she walks with. She's an older Kenku. She has but knowing Kenku, they don't live that long. So when she says she's older, she's probably about 20 years old. But she's back in my day, we could cast druid spells, we'd be fine. The Crusadia, they're always trying to get all of us. Anyway, it's wonderful to see you around here.
It's wonderful to see you too, Ren. What you been up to aside from avoiding those uppity numpties out there?
Yes. Well, you know, since and you know this whole tale. But since I lost all magics, and I can't do anything anymore, you know, I've resulted in mostly doing medicinal work. You know, I think, oh, mortar, pestle, yeah. But anyway, and she kind of turns around and she waddles back through. She pulls off various vials very fast, which kind of, you know, anyone who was not you would kind of alarm you. She sprawls it out. She says, well, you know, I've been doing a lot of foraging. I've gotten various herbs here. This one's from Devereaux. Very hard to come by these days, yes. And this one is from Lindenveer. And she's just going through her various herb collection. I always appreciate you taking your time to come and, you know, I'm usually the black bird of the group. But it's very nice to have someone, you know, come here and speak with me.
Well, it would be a shame for me not to take the opportunity.
Yes.
And it helps me sometimes to remember that in little ways, he's still with me.
Yes. Your God, you keep going on about. Why does everyone keep going on about God these days? Chrysadia. You can tell she's not very fond of this new regime of how everything's working.
You know what I need?
Yes. Maybe.
I need to refresh the herbs for my sensor. So if you have any sage.
Sage is very hard to come by these days. She kind of trails off, but I think I have something I can do.
Rosemary will also work, or jasmine.
She kind of goes back into her it's like a foragey curtain. It just has like these plant vines. She pushes it back. She comes
or lavender. I'll take that too.
Okay, lavender I can do. And she can hear ruffling. She comes back. Yeah. Well, since they keep sending those dogs out on us, it's hard for me to get what I need these days. So everything has to be up to code, unfortunately. So I have to hide all my special goods. Otherwise they'll sniff me out. Make a history check with advantage.
Jeez.
QT, yes.
Only a 14 on this one.
Okay, 14. You know exactly what she means when she says dogs. She doesn't necessarily mean the dusk crest. You know that Chrysadia is also well known for in their Inquisition, Dusk Crest officers will go and they usually bring best way to describe it, a dog with them to snuff out certain herbs, and that's how they can kind of say, okay, these herbs are okay, these herbs are not okay, what they actually will use. She says dogs. An image flashes in your mind because you've seen one of these dogs. And it's not a normal dog. It's not a shepherd or anything like that. They're humanoid. You've seen various ones where about your height, maybe normal height. You've spoken to these dogs. And within you, your heart just kind of sinks a little bit. Because you're aware that Chrysadia uses werewolves to seek out these druids and herbs that they use. And it's not kind, as you are aware. They do not go willingly. They are, in a way, trapped by Chrysadia. That kind of just, you meet the eyes of Ren, and you both just kind of solemnly like have that understanding. Yes, well, but anyway, I have lavender, and they haven't taken all my sage, but you may have a little bit, not all of it.
Thank you.
Little bit.
That's fine. And if you could also perhaps give me some of the special leaves as well. You know the ones that I.
Yes, I have a package over here. And she scurries off, comes back. And it's in like a little burlap sack with you've seen this kind of before. It's a burlap sack, right? That has like this twine on it that when you're aware when they twine it, anything within that burlap sack cannot be traced. It's something that you have seen with your eyes like many times. Well, you don't really see with your eyes, do you?
I don't.
That you have kind of felt in your hands before. That this is how they go about making sure certain things are kind of held tight. And she gives you the little, she goes inside and gives you the little satchel, what was inside, and she ties it up and puts it away immediately.
I appreciate you.
Yes.
These are very important for my work.
Wow.
And then of course, your best tea leaves.
Oh, yes, I have tea. That's easy to get. There's like a whole wall of tea. You know that she mostly sells tea. She is like the tea person. Everyone comes in here to get tea. Yes, I have lots of that. Everyone's always asking for tea. And she gets tea. She gives you some. I think everything, well, that's really hard to come by. I'll put it on the bill.
Thank
Put it
you.
on the church bill.
The church will see you are paid.
You would know that everything, the tea is probably about a copper. The other herbs are probably copper, but the very hard to find, like sage, and a little bit of lavender is like 10 gold.
Yeah.
Sage is like 10 gold right now in this market because it is the one thing that people cannot get their hands on. Yes, I put 12, no, 11 gold on the ticket for the church.
Thank you.
Back
I
in my
do-
day, sage was a copper.
I do hope the prices on that drop soon.
As do I. But when she gets really close, that won't happen until we get rid of the regime.
Mhm.
Have a good day or night, What are they saying these days out there?
Well, not much. Not much that's important anyway. Especially not that preacher man.
That preacher. He's rude. I don't like him one bit.
Well,
They keep trying to kick me out of here. But I'll never leave.
you hold fast, Ren.
You too. She waddles away.
And then
Only her beak is shown, like the edge of it.
yeah, and then I think that the Reverend will probably make their way to the tavern for they don't need to eat or drink, they just enjoy, people watching and the smells are nice. They remind them of better days when they did eat and drink.
With that, would you like to take a break? Or do we want to get to Wes? Well, how are we all feeling?
I wouldn't mind a quick break.
Okay. It's spicy. So we'll have a break. We'll have a 10-minute break. And then we'll get into Wes. Sabriel. Not Sabriel. Sabriel. We're off to a great start. Sabriel. All right. That's going to take a little bit. You've been trekking down here for a few days. You're not quite sure. The plans that Whistler scrawled very quickly on this parchment that you are using your lantern. Actually, you can't see either. Okay, so Whistler has punctured through this parchment. And as you can kind of feel it with your fingers, you get this sense it'll take probably a few days to get from Gravehaven underground to Harvenrest. And as you hold your lantern out in front of you, the green glow fading in and out. You can finally see in front of you now dark, dreary cave walls, almost like a tunneling system that you and Whistler have been working on for a few weeks now. Speaking with Varkan before, you wanted to witness Harvenrest for yourself. You've only been here in Malanthrain in the Archdiocese of Crusadia for about a month or so. You're fairly new to the area, and Whistler and Varkan have taken you in to kind of help you adjust a little bit. A day goes by, 2 days go by, 3, 4 at this point. What do you look like as you are traveling through?
So any passersby that would see Sabriel, they see this 7'3" massive form, clad in black plate armor, carrying a massive staff that is taller than he is, with a lantern affixed to the top of it, and it's emitting a green, like ebbing light from the top. But one of the sides of the lantern is closed, and that's the one facing backwards. And as he walks, you can hear this heavy thud and clank of armor, because Sabriel is probably over 300 pounds with the armor on. He's a very big guy, very intimidating looking. And he's wearing a half mask that covers his eyes, and revealing only the bottom half of his face.
You've been down here for a while. And then finally, there's a soft sound that you hear up ahead.
Yes, I hear it too. No, I don't know what it is. He's going to move forward and investigate the noise.
Okay. Roll an investigation check.
My first roll.
It's not great. It's a 4.
4. Are you doing this stealthily? Are you just?
Oh, absolutely not. He's
Okay.
clonking. He's clonking along. He has nothing to fear at this point.
As you are moving forward, you're not sure what night it is. You're not sure what time it is. You've kind of lost track of that for a bit. And as you kind of are keeping your lantern out in front of you, you can see kind of through it. There's a fainting glow a little bit far in the distance, probably about 60-80 feet. And as soon as you start approaching, it kind of stops.
Interesting. He's going to keep moving toward it.
Okay.
And then just have his staff at the ready.
Okay.
So instead of using it almost like a walking staff, he's going to hold it in 2 hands.
As you move closer, the green glow of the lantern, you kind of check it around, and you swipe it one more time. Odd. Nothing seems to be here. So you go a little bit further. And as you swipe with your lantern to kind of see and look around, you can almost catch 2 faint glowing eyes. Just kind of go back in the darkness.
It is all right. I mean you no harm.
Make a persuasion check.
14?
Who's there?
My name is Sabriel. What is yours?
Why are you here?
Why, I felt like taking a stroll. Why are you here?
Find the skin. You have to get out of here.
And why is that?
You kind of hear a little ways away, like a shh.
Do they sound... How old does this person sound? Do they sound like a child, or...
Make a perception check or insight.
Okay. I'll do perception. Ooh. I have advantage on perception checks, and
Yep.
I rolled a 14 on the first one and a nat 20 on the second one.
Perfect. They're a little younger. 17 maybe. Like not like a child. More of like a teenager, young adult. And you can hear like the shushing over on the side. It says, "What do you gotta go doing that for?" This individual seems a little older.
It's quite all right. Are you hungry? And he's going to reach into his pouch and pull out a ration.
Yeah. As you... I assume you step even closer to do this, to hand it to them.
He's also going to kneel down, so he's a little less imposing,
Okay.
and he's going to hold it out instead of walking more forward. He's just going to like kneel down and hold it forward.
As you kneel down, the ground here is cold. You don't know how far you are down here. But recalling what Whistler previously has given you, this is as far as the tunnel went. From your recollection, and through Whistler's investigations. And as you've been down, and kind of your hand reaches out, the metal of your armor clinks against bars. And very quickly, something grabs the food and scurries back and eats it.
So I'm going to grip my staff in both hands and click it once to make the light glow brighter, so that I can get more of a visual of what's going on. So I'm going to cast light.
Okay. So as you cast light, the glowing that you saw earlier were very soft, like candles, that are almost like kind of burnt out, kind of in a way. And they're kind of placed throughout, like to kind of give you some light out in here. But as you cast light, you see probably about 4 individuals in here now that you've cast light, each in a cell, holding cell. One female, one male that they were communicating, and drow, half-orc, and 2 other individuals in the far back. You can't quite, because they're a little bit ways away. You can't quite tell. They might have some horns. They could be a tiefling of some kind, and like a drow maybe, but you're not quite certain. And they have like these kind of worn down clothes on their person, but nothing else on them that you can see. Their hair is kind of matted. They've been down here for a bit.
So seeing this, Sabriel's going to reach out to the bars. What is the reason for your incarceration?
Make a persuasion check. With advantage.
Okay.
Since you are kind of giving them food.
That's a 10. Oh no, I'm sorry. Persuasion. So that's a 16.
Okay. She kind of speaks up a little bit. She kind of has this look on her face of confusion from you, but also anger, like not towards you, but just in the moment of they're just ourselves. They hate us for what we are. Put us in here because they don't like us. We don't know why. They just do it.
Very well. And you, like, before he says that, you can see his, like, the corner of his mouth grimace a little bit, like he kind of grinds his teeth. Well, If that is the case, then I suppose it would be time to leave this place. And he's going to stand up and try and walk towards where he can see the doors are.
Okay, go ahead and make a perception check.
18.
Okay. So, in this dungeon, you have a cell here, and as you're moving forward, kind of a cell next to the individual you're talking to. In front of that is the individual, the half-orc, that was speaking before to kind of quiet her down. As you're moving forward, there's an empty cell that the door is still open. And you move on in the other two doors. You see now a drow. They have the only thing like of note on their person is they have like a little piercing that is kind of in the shape of like a little leaf on their ear. But it's very small. That's like it. Probably something that they kind of hid to before they were thrown in here. And then moving forward, humanoid individual who you could have sworn looked different before, but now you don't know if it was because it's too dark, but now their horns are kind of turned like a ram again. They don't appear to be, they appear now to be a tiefling, but they may have looked different a moment ago. You're not quite sure. You don't question as much. But the one thing as you're investigating is that door is empty, open for that cell. And the door is actually, there's kind of like a upstairs and then a doorway. Yeah.
And he's going to kind of look at the open door and swing it a little bit to just see how it's constructed. Is it made of like iron or?
Make a investigation check or a history check. I know it's kind of strange. Actually, yeah, history with advantage.
Okay.
Knowing you, which is kind of maybe a weird call, but
17?
17. History?
Mm-hmm.
So as you're looking over this metal of some kind, it's similar to iron. It's something that you have seen in the southern coast that may have been imported, maybe. You're not sure why that is, but you do recall in your like journeying through the southern coast, a lot of this like southern metal could be used as a reactor to magic. It also can be used in a way where it can kind of cancel magics to guarantee who is inside is more of an anti-magic metal. And that's what you see when you go inside that cell door.
So, yeah, recognizing this, he's going to kneel back down again and kind of ask the room, by chance, do any of you practice magic?
The only
Who's-
voice you hear is the individual who is kind of taking a liking to you. Yes. That's why we're here.
I understand. Give me a moment.
Mhm.
And then he's going to, because looking at the open door, he's able to study the hinges a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's going to literally try and like put his foot on the bottom of the gate and then lift and pull the top of the gate of the door to try and like literally rip it off its hinges.
Yeah. Go ahead and make a strength check.
Okay. Please, dice. That's a 14.
Okay. You roll my door. I just thought it'd be fun. You do this with ease. It's, you know that this metal, it's, for some reason it's easier to get in than it is to get out. Like once you're in there, it's kind of drains you, right? But easy enough, you get the hinges off, and you kind of startle her a bit. Thank you. She kind of like gets up using kind of the wall, and starts heading out.
You may want to stick with me for the time being. I'm not quite sure what's out there. And I'm assuming that you would not like to end up in one of these cells again. Does anyone else want to leave, or are you content staying here? And he says with a slight smirk.
You immediately they cling to the bar and say, "Let me out here! Get me out of here right now!" And you hear the older man. Oh, listen, stranger, I could have been a little hasty with you there in the beginning. But if you can get me out of these, it'd be very nice.
It is understandable. You've been thrown in a cage for something that is not your fault. Please stand back from the doors. And then he's going to proceed to use Sacred Flame to heat the hinges and make it an easier time on himself to tear the doors off.
Easy enough. That does make it easier for you to get into that. Actually, let me double check real quick. Yes, it does. Okay. It makes it easier for you to go inside and get that door off. And you're able to do it for everybody. You now have 4 individuals following you that are malnourished. They've been here for a while. They begin kind of in a hushed whisper talking to each other.
There is no need to fear me. And he's going to reach into his pack and he's going to hand each of them a ration.
They start to eat it. They look in bad shape. They've been here for probably some of them are worse off. They've probably been here, I want to say, for maybe a few weeks, few days. You're not quite sure.
He's going to reach into the same pack and pull out 4 canteens and then hand them to each person. Can you tell me who has done this to you?
They pour the water on themselves. And then in just a fashion of
And he's going to hold his hand up. Slow down so you do not choke. I know it may have been quite a while since you've had water enough to drink, but you don't want to harm yourself further. There's plenty more where that came from, and there's no need to hurry yourself.
We didn't know each other. It's not like we came here as a group. We just came into town and you were nice to us. And
Are you talking about a Harvenrest?
Yes, Harvenrest. We only came here to pass through. I mean, I did, and my sister. And they, we're usually careful. I was stupid, and I took something that I knew I shouldn't, and I cast magic in front of them.
Who is them?
Wow. The guards, or whatever they are, the guards of, I mean, we're not from Crusadia. We've only been passing through the Archdiocese. We were hoping to get to the Malkier coast. We weren't here to stay here. And all druids know you don't stay in Crusadia. You get out as fast as you can. We only stopped to replenish, make sure we can make the rest of the way. We thought, if we got around Crusadia, and we just kept to the small rural towns, that it'd be easier to get lost. But they hunt us down worse here. So the guards got to us. Usually we're actually fortunate they didn't take us to Crusadia. The preacher bartered with them or something. The preacher, I guess, talked to them and was going to take care of it. And they locked us down here. And that's all that we kind of heard. That they'll just take care of it.
And these guards, did they go through the door over there, or did they leave the way I came through?
Oh, they went out. Well, the guards never came down here. It was only the preacher, and only the preacher comes down here.
The preacher is the one who locked you in these cages.
Yes.
And he kind of like cracks his neck. I suppose I may need to have a few words with this preacher and see just what God he serves.
She kind of instinctually grabs your hand. They took my sister
Where?
up there. I don't know how long ago. It doesn't seem, it can't be that long. We've lost, and then the half work kind of cuts her off. We've been down here too long. We don't know what's going on up there. But they take people out of here, and we don't see them come back.
How long has the girl been gone?
He kind of thinks to himself, I don't know, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. It had to have been not that long ago. Maybe the same day or not. Not sure.
And they'll see Sabriel look over his shoulder. Yes, I agree.
You
We-
agree to what, friend?
I simply talking to a friend of mine.
They kind of look at each other.
I am one of the members of the Oath of the Lantern, a paladin, and I care for the living and guide the dead.
You see their eyes just kind of widen a bit.
There's nothing to fear. But I make sure that the living do not take burdens with them into the next life.
Well, that's a mighty kind of you, stranger.
It is my purpose. And for now, my purpose will be to help you and make sure that no others end up in this trap. He's going to reach into his pack and he's going to hand them each an additional ration. Are there any of you with any fighting experience? I know you said you are druids, but as you said, danger is everywhere.
We can cast some spells, but we're very weak. I mean, pretty good with pitchfork.
He smiles. That won't be necessary. For now, I would suggest you stick with me. And if something does occur, make sure that you hide yourselves away as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Is everyone all right to walk?
They nod.
Then please follow me and do watch your step. There's many outcropped rocks here. And he's going to start walking toward the way that they pointed that the preacher came from.
Okay. As you go up the steps to this door, you go to open it, and it's unlocked. You open the door.
Kind of duck my head to go through.
As you duck your head to go through, you're holding your lantern forward. It's odd. So when you go underground here, it's a stairwell that goes up. You came through that door. Then there's another like flight of steps. And as you go up those steps, there's kind of the wooden bunker doors to where are usually on the side of a house that have the two panels. Do you go through those as well?
He's going to reach forward and push one of them slightly open to get a look outside.
Okay, make a perception check. As your lantern is kind of
Perception. So that is a 21.
21. Yeah, with the 21. The first thing that you notice is the noise. There's a lot of people, and you look up out of here a little bit, and you're outside. On the side of a building. And you see from where you are right now, probably 40 people, just on this corner view of what you have. And they're all kind of gathering around. Up above you, it's pitch dark. The moons are out. The stars you can see are... It's
kind of hard for my character to see the stars. I'll be
that's
honest.
true.
Yeah.
with your lantern, you can kind of see, oh, it's dark outside.
Yeah.
As you do continue on.
Before he does, he'll hold back and be like, can you point out which one is the preacher?
The girl kind of goes through. I don't see him from here. There's too many people.
No need to worry. Wait here.
They'll wait.
And he starts to take a step forward. And do not worry, I will be back for you. You have my word.
Just be careful. I mean, you don't know what they're capable of.
And they do not know what I am capable of. And then with that, he's going to walk out the door and shut it behind him.
Before you leave, she's going to cast guidance on you.
Can you remind me what guidance does?
So within a minute, you can roll a d4 and add that number rolled to one ability check of your choice.
Got it.
Yeah.
So he's going to walk out and with a smile on his face. Where is the preacher? May I thank him for this fine gathering of people?
Cool.
And he's going to stand up full height, shoulders back. Like, and as he steps, you can just hear this heavy clanking of armor. He's putting his full weight into each step to even like make more noise on purpose.
Yeah. As you push yourself kind of through that crowd, there's probably about 200 people here that are kind of gathered outside in front of this town. You, with the lantern, there's all these people you can see above. Oh, because you're 7 foot tall.
Yeah,
above
exactly.
All of everybody.
So he's giant. There's no missing this guy walking around with a glowing green lantern staff and also just hulking in this giant metal suit of armor.
As you're looking over this crowd, you see in the middle is like this cornucopia that everyone is kind of gathered around. In kind of behind the cornucopia, on this parapet of sorts, is an individual who seems to be kind of preaching, speaking. Reverend Varkan. You've had your meal and you've kind of been waiting around and spent the rest of the day
I didn't really have my meal so much as smell my meal.
You smelled your meal. Gathering here, you see the church bells. You hear them start to go off. Isidora, Wythe, you hear the church bells go off. And you see the denizens start to gather, all in front of this cornucopia. You watch as Preacher Harcourt gets up on this parapet and begins a sermon of sorts to Reverend Varkan's ears. On this night, everyone, I am pleased for this bountiful harvest that we all have provided here today. And it's not even harvest in yet. And look, crops are booming, let me tell you. You hear like a farmer go, "Praise be Chilali." And he kind of quiets down the crowd. We have had a rough time over the years, but our God provided, Chrysadia has provided, and the Archdiocese has been very kind to us. You know, I remember when I was a wee lad here, Harvenrest was a bit of a Harven bust. And you get some laughs a little bit, some groans. Harvenrest, you know, something was wrong with the crops. We couldn't grow a wheat if it was on our lives. But Chrysadia stepped in showed us the ways of Chitlali. Showed us that if we are to provide to her, if we are to worship, and he gestures to the moons, you all now see that this chapel that's kind of like here, with that crescent moon, that those moons have now kind of lined up in time for this sermon. Chitlali, although it did take a few of us from some of you, I'm talking about you, Cronin. Cronin just groans. It took a little time for you all to kind of wrap your minds around Chitlali. I know your ancient ways of worshiping Bancroft these days is going to be far behind you. Go ahead, and anyone who wishes, roll a religion check. That includes Sabriel, since you're all kind of displaced here in the crowd. Yeah, all of you. As Sabriel is kind of making his way. Where's the preacher?
Natural 20 for a 24.
Cool. 1 minute to roll.
Yeah, 9.
Okay,
Yeah, he's not paying attention to the sermon so much.
great. Anybody above? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, does Varkan sees Sabriel?
I'd imagine that right now Reverend Varkan is probably focused on the preacher. But if you were to draw closer, I'm sure they would notice you.
Anybody above a 20?
Just me.
Varkan. Reverend Varkan. Bancroft. That's a name you haven't heard in a very long time. Bancroft is also known as the Harvester. Harvester was in the Asvorian pantheon. And what's interesting about the Asvorian pantheon is that, sorry, I said that. That got me, Aki. What's interesting about the Harvester is that being from the Asvorian pantheon, the Asvorian pantheon is illegal to worship. And it kind of dawns on you. Harvester, Bancroft, cornucopia. Oh, these aren't Chitlali practices. This is Bancroft practices, masked by Chitlali's worship. It finally is like, oh, what they're doing is sacrilegious. They're wiping the Asvorian gods, and over the archdiocese is taking these Asvorian gods.
It's like, Christmas and Easter are, repaints of Samhain and yeah.
Yep.
And Halloween and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly what it is. What you like, Reverend Varkan, you understand the shit that he is talking. You understand. With over a 20, that's all that's what you have. And now I understand that Chitlali is the way. Since worship in Chitlali, our crops have grown in abundance. And all we need to do is provide a little of our resources to her. Everyone make a perception check with disadvantage, since the crowd is so loud. As they're all talking, it's 200 people.
Boo, disadvantage.
I got a 7.
Okay.
I got a 12.
11.
Also,
I'm sorry, 13.
13. Okay. I would say Reverend Varkan, since you are closer to the preacher, you're probably really taking in what he's saying. You're really making, like, you're not only listening to what he's saying, you're listening to how he's saying it. You're really just kind of picturing the whole picture. And the crowd is just kind of agreeing with him. The muffled sounds within the cornucopia kind of catch your attention.
Mhm.
And then you hear Reverend Varkan. Well, I know it was a little early for Harvest Sand. But we have 3 nights until this month is ended. And then it is, I know we're still within the autumnal reaping right now. Year's about to be over. But I say, why don't we provide more for Chilali today?
What is it that you intend to provide her?
Make a persuasion check to see. Yes. Sabriel, as you
15?
15? Yeah. He gives you an eye. And just keeps going on with the sermon. As you get closer, Sabriel, the preacher takes notice of you right away. But he doesn't interrupt his sermon. He kind of has been practicing it for a while, and doesn't want to disrupt the flow of everything. But as you approach and get closer and closer to the stage, you see, clad in purple and gold, these guards kind of take notice of you. Isidora, why? What are you doing as this is happening?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
As far as we know, this is just a strange, quaint little town with some very interesting things happening. No idea about the druid thing, just kind of chilling, honestly. Besides the social anxiety, I can't tell that there's anything wrong. Wait, what were you gonna say, Zach?
Oh no, I was gonna say I'm very interested in the very tall, bright person interrupting the service. So I'm spending all of my time figuring that out.
Actually, Finn, can I roll like, I don't know what I would roll for this.
What would you you can describe it. What would you like to do?
Does his behavior sound familiar to me?
Roll a religion check.
Got it. Okay.
Interesting. Yeah. I know religion might be a little weird. Okay.
Nah, finally. Finally, we're doing good things with the dice. But can't do good things with the math. What's my religion? Oh, there it is. I got a 22.
22. It is very similar. You hear the name Bancroft. That kind of resonates with you a bit. You how do I describe this? His methods are similar. And you kind of while Isidora is kind of like, okay, listening to the sermon, you kind of have this moment where your chest tightens up on itself a bit. And you get this feeling of dread for a moment. You close your eyes, breathe, and it passes. Bancroft, your grandmother has spoken of Bancroft before, but in very small means. You know of some of the Asvorian pantheon. You know that Asvoria's pantheon are usually the pantheon and what your grandmother taught you, the pantheon that you don't necessarily talk about anymore. You have to be careful and mindful that if you worship them, to be quiet about it. And that was one thing that your grandmother really instilled. And as you are finally kind of like honing in and paying more attention to what he is saying, the way he talks about the Asvorian gods is not like how your grandmother talked to them, but the methods are the same. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that's what you would get.
Okay.
Yeah, they have very different views, but their methods are the same.
Wythe is going to try as subtly as she can to everyone else around her, but pull on one of the many belts that Isidora has on their person, and try and whisper in their ear.
Mhm.
Something is wrong. I don't know what it is. And I don't know if I'm right, but it seems like something is very, very, very wrong.
Okay.
Who's the tall man with the light coming out of his staff?
Okay, well, I was thinking the same thing. I'm going to figure that out first, and then we're going to see what comes next. And I think Isidore fully does, like, you know, when they're like, don't look, and then the friend like rubbernecks to look,
Damn it.
fully just turns around.
As you do this, you watch as that lantern individual has walked on the stage.
Yeah, Sabriel is going to step up onto the stage, and like he's so heavy and massive that you can like literally hear the board start to creak under his armored boots.
That's my creep.
And he's gonna walk right up to the preacher, like 6 inches away, and
Yeah.
look down on him.
Okay.
Yeah, and under their breath, Varkan just is like, oh no.
This might be the thing that was wrong. This might be it right now. Here it is.
And he's gonna put his armored gauntlet on the preacher's shoulder and just look him right in the eyes. You and I need to have a conversation, and we can do it publicly in front of your congregation or in private. And he like leans in and just whispers, your choice.
Make an intimidation check with advantage.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's hot.
I know.
Oh,
I
I'm
was
not-
like,
So that's a 26 on
26?
intimidation.
I'll roll just for shits and giggles. He rolled. Oh, that's not bad. But it doesn't beat you. Hey, there, stranger. He looks you over. I don't know what kind of place you're from. But fortunately, I'm middle of a sermon right now. And he kind of like leans in. Is there a problem here?
There are several problems, and I dare say that your life may hang in the balance.
He looks very confused. Varkan, make a perception check. Actually, everyone can make a perception check, minus Sabriel, because you're
That's
kind
fair.
of intent.
I'm
You're
kind
very
of-
intent with rage on this thing.
Yeah, he's singularly focused right now.
Yeah.
Nah, bro. That's just a 9 from your boy.
19?
Okay.
Yeah.
15.
You watch as the purple clad individuals of the Dusk Crest have now like kind of reached this point on this stage.
I
Excuse
think
me.
the Reverend Varkan is too focused on Sabriel to really be paying attention to them.
I would also be too interested in watching Sabriel as well.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And you see as one of the you have seen these individuals around. You've never really interacted with one of them. They've probably been too scared to approach you themselves. But through speaking with Whistler and Varkan, you do know that these are the city guards of Chrysadia. Unfortunately, you're not supposed to be here. Is there a problem we can handle? As they're talking directly to you.
No, unfortunately, this is between me and your preacher at the moment. There seems to be some sort of issue, and it may involve his physical safety.
Well, anything that has to do with our priest within the archdiocese, Chrysadia's eyes may be upon this as well, and that includes us. So unfortunately, under the law, we are to witness this interaction and mitigate as we will.
Oh, so that I will put forth the question to you as well. Would you rather have this done in private or in front of the congregation of people in this village?
You see the preacher.
And he's gonna stand up as full height and like stamp the staff into the boards.
The preacher's about 5'11", 5'9", 5'11". This imposing image as you all watch as Sabriel just kind of leaning, towering over this individual. That's me. Preacher says, well, what is it that you're trying to discuss, friend?
As I said, we can discuss that in private or in front of everyone here and let your townsfolk decide.
Everyone else in the crowd, you start hearing the whispers of what's going on up there, what's happening. Is church over? Can I eat food now? And the preacher settles down and says, all right, well, if you have a problem here, we can settle it as a town. What is your name, stranger? And he gestures to you.
So
At this point, the Reverend has started inching their way up towards the stage as well.
Yeah.
Sabriel is their charge, and so they feel a certain sense of responsibility for him.
Yeah.
So they're just inching their way up there.
Okay.
Just getting close.
And so he's going to look like instead of like leaning down to do it, he's going to lean over him.
Yeah.
And look straight down at him. And I'm going to use radiant conception, which means my body radiates light in a 10-foot radius,
Yep.
making me look very
Bright.
potentially godlike.
Yes.
Uh,
You watch the crowd kind of go silent.
Let me just say that it is in your best interest to do this privately, but if you insist, he's going to turn to the crowd. Did you know that your preacher is false? And did you know that he keeps prisoners underneath these very grounds in cages?
You hear like the
And he turns
murmuring.
slowly back again and grabs his shirt in his hands. Now, do you want to continue this conversation in public or private?
You hear various voices from the crowd, and it wasn't. What are you talking about? He's a false prophet. What? You hear one individual say, "I ate food now." Same individual. I need Isidora to make a nature check with advantage.
Oh, of course. Okay. That. Perfect. That is a 14.
14. As you're making your way through this crowd, Wythe kind of right on the tail end of you. You have this, you don't know what it is. It's a sense. The cornucopia. Strange. Stranger than before. But there's something about it that draws you in particular to it.
And like a I need to I guess like I need to be close to it, or I guess like what kind of drawing? Okay.
A drawing of, not that you need to be close to it. It's not trying, the cornucopia is not trying to pull you. There is something within the cornucopia that you have a sense or you recognize.
Then I think she'll turn to Wythe and say, this is probably going to get real simple, real fast. I do want to see how this goes, but I think we need to be outside.
Outside.
At the cornucopia, there's just I think whatever this huge man is talking about has something to do with whatever's in that big cone outside, and I don't know where I'm getting this from, so just bear with me. But I don't know.
Okay. If you need, we can sneak over there. I can't do it to myself, but if you need me to, I can make you invisible. And I can watch.
Is that gonna put you in trouble? Isn't that... I don't know if that's a good idea. I think we could just sort of shuffle out really quick. How about this? You stay here. I'm gonna go see about it, and if it's a problem, I'll send you a sign.
That's the worst idea I've ever heard.
It's
If
not...
we separate, what will happen if something happens to you?
It's not that far. I'm not gonna go firing spells off like pistols. I'm just gonna go poke around. Quick.
Okay.
It'll be fine.
All right.
Great. Be safe. And she starts slinking back to the back of the church.
Okay. Back into the church, like out.
Back towards the exit.
Got it. Okay. So not towards the cornucopia.
Oh, sorry. No, if he's in front of he's preaching in front of the cornucopia?
He's behind the cornucopia. So you have this massive crowd right? And in the center of town, they are all surrounding this cornucopia in town. Then in behind that, so if you went from the inn, looking out at the inn, you see a huge crowd. In front of that crowd is a cornucopia. Behind the cornucopia is the parapet with the preacher. So he's kind of like over this. Yeah. So you're on the other side, and then the cornucopia, and then the preacher.
Do you
Then
want to be
I
invisible
was
now?
gonna say, I've thought about it, and I think that's actually a really good idea.
Awesome.
Okay.
Cool.
Mhm.
Amazing. All right, you're gonna be invisible for, you can be invisible for up to an hour. Yep. Everything you're wearing is visible as long as it's on you. And the spell ends if you attack or cast a spell. So you are now invisible. Wythe is gonna pat you on the shoulder and wish you good luck.
And then she fades away and starts heading towards the cornucopia.
Okay. Sabriel. You see the preacher just kind of oh, let's not be too hasty there. What are you talking about? I don't know. I don't understand.
Do you know what an Oath of the Lantern Paladin is?
I can't reckon I do.
We guide the souls of the dead to peace, and we
Nah,
protect the innocent living from suffering a fate
yeah.
worse than death.
He eyes Reverend Varkan. Oh, I see. I understand what's going on here.
And something that you may not know about the Oath of the Lantern is that the dead that follow us are endeared to us.
Hmm.
And if I wanted, I can make them rip the flesh from your bones.
He kind of chuckles a bit.
And that will happen if you try to lie to me again.
What are you, kind of a death warden fanatic or something? He shouts that out to the group. You worship the death god?
And my friend, exactly what god do you worship?
Well,
Keeping in mind that lying to me would be a very bad idea.
I worship Chitlali, the goddess of the moon. And you see the Crusadean guards just kind of solemnly like, well, and he kind of gestures to the crowd. Well, you see here, this is what this is. You know, we have Reverend Varkan and this individual, death god worshippers, here spitting falsities and trying to disrupt our church and my sermon to all of you wonderful people.
Does Shalali not have customs of her own? Is there a reason you must steal the customs of another god?
Do I notice Varkan at this point?
You would notice Varkan at this point.
He is going to look over and smile. Ah, Reverend Varkan. A pleasure to see you.
And now I'm going to describe my character because I haven't described them yet.
Describe your character. What do you look like?
When Sabriel turns to the Reverend Varkan, they see a very slim and lithe individual around 5'10", 5'11". And their face cannot be seen as it is completely obscured, first by a mask with no eyes that's made of silver and gold and copper, and a beautiful crown adorns their head, and underneath the crown and the mask is a white veil that seems to cling to their head and falls in like a flimsy veil around their shoulders, under which is a black capelet that sort of drapes over across their chest, over their shoulders, and down their back. and beneath that they wear a white frock that's cinched in the middle, and all of this is embroidered in gold. They appear to be wearing gloves, and just underneath the gloves you see the loose bindings of what appear to be a shroud that clings to their arms, through which you can see grayed skin that has gold lettering etched into it. And they wear black boots, and that is the Reverend Varkan.
Yeah. You hear this crowd change its persona of sorts. It goes from these happy villagers to almost a mob of 200 people. They start yelling, get them off the stage. What are they doing here? You know, it's all these death god worship these days. You hear one individual, you know, I can see why Crusadia keeps trying to get rid of that church down yonder. And then you take notice, Reverend Varkan, of the little Minotaur kid who was sitting there, just kind of like sad, as two other Minotaur individuals are yelling towards the two of you. The preacher Harcourt looks over to the two of you. Well, I would choose your next words very carefully, because you're not welcome here anymore.
And Sabriel is going to look over his shoulder. No, not right now.
No,
Very well.
It's kind of strange.
Some of my friends wish you to see them for yourself. And he's going to click his staff twice, and it's going to open the flap. And it's going to reveal the massive army of dead that are following him. And there's a big group of them surrounding and just glaring at this preacher.
Okay. Yep. Disadvantage. Yep. He goes pale. And he just drops to his knees. Just starts panting. Freaked out.
And then Sabriel is going to address the crowd. Do you think the dead do not enjoy your antics? They do not enjoy how you treat others. And also, do you think that the moon is the only thing that provides? Death is what creates fertile fields. Without death, nothing can grow. Death is part of life, and I know that part of life is trying to avoid it. However, you must recognize that without it, nothing can survive.
You may make a choice. Perception or intimidation.
Well, he's not really trying to intimidate them. He's trying to intimidate the preacher for sure.
Okay.
Can I do the perception check?
Or you can do a perception check, yes. But persuasion for Sabriel. Yeah.
Well, it's either intimidation or persuasion, your pick, but I rolled a nat 20.
Okay. So
And I got a dirty 20.
So it's a 27 either way.
So you can decide whether you want to be persuasive with them or intimidate them.
So it's kind of a mix. He's trying to intimidate the guards and the preacher, while trying not to intimidate the crowd, because there's no ghosts in the crowd being revealed. They're all swarmed around this preacher.
Yes.
Because they were all there in the caves, having seen what he had done to the druids.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't like him very much.
For the crowd, as you're addressing them, do you want to persuade them or intimidate?
It persuading them pretty
Persuading. Okay. What did you roll for your persuasion?
much. It's 27.
27. Okay.
So it was a nat 20 for whichever role you wanted me to do, and yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm not going to roll for 200 people. Okay.
no, for sure.
So we're going to see. Okay.
The last 20 minutes of this episode is just you rolling for 200
For 200
people.
people. Yeah. You notice. I would say Varkan notices because I feel like you're.
Because I rolled a dirty 20 on my perception check.
Yes. Yeah. Since you would notice half of the group is listening. And that is something that they haven't done in a very long time. Whatever it is that Sabriel just did to this individual, they're like, it's mostly, they're kind of thinking of their own faith. Like, are we back in the wrong person kind of feel? The other half has witnessed worshippers of the death god come in, cast something on their preacher that is very near and dear to them, and has dropped him to his knees in fear. So you have two sides of this group. Isidora, as you go to the cornucopia, make a perception check or investigation.
Okay. That's bad. Investigation or perception.
Perception.
A 7.
So, okay. You are taking in this cornucopia. The shift of the group of this mob has changed drastically. This nice village of denizens really are held together by this church, and there are strangers in here basically trying to do something with their preacher. You're not quite sure what is going on right now, but you do feel the sense of something drastically has changed in the environment, in the vibe, if you will. Looking over this cornucopia, it's huge, 12-foot tall. The opening of it is probably 2 of you stacked, like on top. And it like spirals up. And as you're kind of looking, the crowd is super loud, so you don't hear anything. But you could have sworn like a gourd shifts and falls.
He's gonna press closer to whatever is behind that gourd.
Okay, so to do that, you'd have to go inside.
Yeah.
You're going inside the cornucopia.
Yeah.
Okay. And you are invisible.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go inside the cornucopia. Going past that gourd at your feet, you go inside. And you have to kind of climb your way through. So go ahead and make a stealth check for me to kind of climb through this cornucopia.
Don't. Come on, child. 10.
10. Okay. As you go through the corn, the wheat, the gourds, you're kind of having to really now get in there. This thing is more stuffed up top than it is on the entrance. You hear something muffling.
coming from deeper in the cornucopia.
Mm-hmm.
Invisible, not silent. She's going to. What's the cornucopia made out of?
It's wicker. Like they have hand weaved this.
Okay. But and the congregation can't see. Like, if I were to humor me, cast a spell,
Mhm.
and become visible, would they be able to see me?
You're not sure. The more you go in side, you could probably cast a spell because it is really packed in here. You would have to really get in there. But if you're invisible, yeah.
Okay, she's going to get as she's going to go as far in as she possibly can. To where she's completely out of sight. And oh, this is dumb. Use Druidcraft
Okay.
to along the side of the cornucopia to like grow a vine, or like a vine with a flower at the end towards that sound. To be like, hey, somebody that does plant shit's here.
A few seconds go by. You hear, now it's muffled, you hear Sabriel, or this individual, this massive booming voice shouting over the crowd now. A few seconds go by. Vines come back to you.
Aggressively digging into the cornucopia now, like throwing whatever squash and shit back.
Okay.
Like,
go ahead and make a dexterity check. You can do, just dexterity.
X, something I have. That's a 15.
Okay, 15. You are getting these vegetables out of your way of the Horn of Plenty as you were inside. And it is dark in here. Do you have dark vision?
Good question. I don't think so. No.
You can only kind of discern as you kind of take a moment within yourself, being close to this vegetation, being close to the earth, being close, like, kind of feel like the sides of this cornucopia is like hand weaved, made from like the soil of these people, that they have grown this wheat and that they have made this themselves. Like, you can kind of sense all of that. And as you're kind of walking, like kind of like crawling through, you feel something. And your hand kind of instinctually kind of like feels it. It goes up. And as you kind of get this sense, as you're now like right here, the cornucopia is weaved over something. And then you kind of, with your druid craft, I would assume, you can feel that as it's weaved in and out, you can kind of stand up and hunch over, and as you kind of feel the nature of this cornucopia, muffled, hand stitched in here is a humanoid that has been kind of weaved by druid crafting in here by their own magic.
It's like a battery. Ooh.
You can see now that it is a female individual, and her eyes just kind of meet yours.
Okay, no, don't, no. Shh. I'm gonna get you out of here. I don't know. Okay. I think as she starts low-key panicking, she's going to cast savagery and start to claw this like woven part open.
As you start to druid craft, touching the earth, there's small little, not necessarily light, but earthy tones that you can feel. You can feel everything that went into crafting this. Isidora, as you are trying to get this individual out. Wythe, as you are standing outside this cornucopia, like a ways away, and you're kind of overworking everything. Reverend Varkan, Sabriel, the civil unrest right now with this group, you assume some could be persuaded, some are very irritated with you both right now. And you see the Reverend Varkan is still frightened. The Dusk Crest have...
Do you mean Preacher Harcourt?
Yeah, Preacher Harcourt is still on his knees, frightened. The Dusk Crest have kind of put themselves between Sabriel and this individual. And as Sabriel, you are communicating with the crest, and Reverend Varkan, you are trying to calm everybody down. Wythe, you're waiting for Isidora to come back to you. And Isidora, as you are crawling and trying to get this individual out. Glowing fire. Slowly makes its way to the cornucopia. And that is where we're going to end the first episode of Gravehaven.
This is fine.
Oh,
Sure.
boy.
Cool. Good.
Just
Yeah,
some, you know.
Sorry for starting some shit, y'all.
It's so good.
It's
I
so
mean-
good. I was like, if
Like,
anyone's gonna start shit.
This is the thing is you don't start none, no, won't be none.
Right.
yeah. No.
And you didn't start it as far as we are all concerned.
Yeah.
We didn't start the fire. Okay,
Yeah.
done.
And honestly, I'm trying to play it slow because we can't just run off. But immediately after finding someone in that cornucopia, I'm like, oh, so burn it down. Oh, time to burn it down.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Of course.
It's like it's time to light a match and watch this mother burn.
Fuck all the pumpkins y'all collected or whatever. You're
Yeah.
done.
Well, thank you so much for playing, everybody.
Thank
This was
you.
the very it's so cute, pumpkin.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us for the very first episode of Gravehaven.
Yeah.
Southern Gothic campaign. We had everything. We had preachers, we had churches, we had harvests, we had everything. So let's go around the table, introduce ourselves. We'll go ahead and start with Sidney. Yeah, so go ahead.
Oh, hello. My name is Sidney Rubino. You can find me all over the internet at Sidney Rubino. That's Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. when I'm not here with these lovely, amazing people. On this stream, I have another stream on Wednesday nights called Edge of Legend that is streamed over on the Nat 20 Productions official channel on Twitch. It starts 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and that is a homebrew Pathfinder 2nd Edition game that's very near and dear to my heart because I helped build the world with my partner, and it is lovely and amazing and fun, and Wes is also in it. So if that sounds super cool to you, come check it out on Wednesday. Actually, by the time, the Wednesday after, because I believe the first Wednesday in October we're dark because we're just finishing up our October campaign and we're like, break's good. But after that, we will be around.
Aki.
Hi, everybody. I'm Aki. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at MixGenie in a Bottle. That's MXGINIINABOTTLE. And this is what I'm doing right now. Just this. So if you want to catch me on a stream, then you can catch me over here in Cute Times on Friday nights at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And otherwise, follow me on my socials so you can keep up with the other things that eventually will hopefully come along.
Me. Zakia.
Hello, I'm Zakia. Pronouns she, they. I'm here for this. I'm also a part of Mayday Roleplay or Mayday RP, sometimes MDERP. We are running a Vegas by Night campaign on Saturdays. And otherwise, I occasionally draw things on the internet, and you can find me at Zach the Drac, Drac spelled D-R-A-K.
Wes.
Hi, everybody. That was a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I am at Wes_IRL and all things. As Sidney mentioned, you can also find me on Edge of Legend, where I play a very different character than Sabriel. I guess not really, because I caused chaos here and I also caused chaos over there. Just a different
type of chaos.
kind of chaos. So yeah, check out Edge of Legend on Wednesdays.
Yeah. Hi everybody, I am Finn Pierson. You can find me all over the internet at FinnRPearson. Yeah, so catch Gravehaven on Fridays at 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Q Times. So we're going to be doing this campaign for a bit. So check this out. VODs will be uploaded within the week after. Once we know a better schedule, we'll let you know exactly when. On Wednesdays, you can find me as Donnie on Open Circuit Studios for Leverage Los Angeles, which I'm really excited for. And then I will also be doing a Blade Runner campaign that will be on the Cyberpunk Red. Oh no. Tahimi is going to be so upset that I keep forgetting.
Is Dirk Red?
I think no. It's follow me. Thank you. Yes, Maz. Yes, thank you for saving me. I get it wrong every time. But we'll be doing a Blade Runner campaign, which I'm very excited for. I love Blade Runner. And then I'm also going to be doing another campaign with Cynthia Marie for Whispered Academy. So follow me on social medias for all of that. Thank you all so much for playing. Thank you. This has been a dream of mine for 2 years, creating this world. And I'm so happy that I have such a wonderful cast and crew. Thank you, Maz, for everything, getting it all like off the ground, and now it's here. Some special shout outs, because I should probably remember how to do that. The art is by Sylphne, Sylphne. You can go find them on Instagram. Highly recommend that you do. They do some incredible work. I've been talking with them since February, trying to get like the artwork for this show done. So they're incredible. Highly recommend go give them some love. And then special shout out to Aven Gonzalez and Christina Pierson, my fiance, who created the music that will be playing throughout the episode. But they created, I believe, 7 to 8 individual tracks just for this show. So handcrafted. So thank you so much, Aven. Thank you so much, Christy, for everything that you do. I really enjoyed being the creative music director, and I don't know how to do music. So it was really fun to be able to like figure out exactly what I wanted the sound of the show to be. And then thank you, Maz and Jake, for being our technical directors for this. Thank you to Q Times once again for letting us be on the show. Yeah, and we will see you all next Friday at 7 p.m. Bye.